I will talk about the broadband in Jordan, and it will be my entry to convergence and the challenges facing convergence, and the new dimension of convergence, the way I see it, based on the developments that are happening around us. We can see that the mobile broadband penetration, there are two segments. One segment, which is the high penetration that is reaching 70%, that includes definitely the North America and the Asia Pacific, and the other segment that includes the Arab world and Latin America, which is still very low, in the below 10% percentage. Now, that's a reality, but I think that is also a great opportunity, great potential for mobile broadband in our region. And in 2011, 350 million smartphones sales that are enabling mobile internet. So this is also another strong indication vis-a-vis the mobile broadband opportunities and potential. If we zoom to Jordan, and if you look from 2007 until 2011, of course, we had only ADSL up until late 2008 and 2009. We had the WiMAX being licensed in Jordan, and the WiMAX operators started operating in Jordan. And then 2010, we had the 3G offered by Orange, and 2011, we had the HSPA Plus, the latest technology deployed and offered by Zain. What you can notice, the growth that happened in the ADSL from 2007 until 2011, 5 years, it was matched in 2 months only. HSPA Plus, that was launched by Zain Jordan, managed to match the growth of 5 years in only 2 months. And look at the year-to-date 2011, what happened. The wireless broadband that was offered, the HSPA Plus that was offered by Zain Jordan, now we have about 100,000 unique subscribers, mostly postpaid. We have about 300 subscribers using the phones, the smartphones enabled with 3G, and market share of 21% just in a very short period of time. That's a very strong indication that when you have the right technology, the right offering, there is a demand, even in a market that is not as, the purchase power not as strong as in the Gulf countries.
A little bit about definition of cloud computing, what is cloud computing, the main component of cloud computing, and some of the concerns related to cloud computing. It might not be these concerns an inclusive concerns and risks, but at least we will have an idea of and a taste about the concerns that we should be aware of. There are about 22 definitions of what is cloud computing. So it depends on how you look at it. But for our presentation here, I adopted the National Institute of Standardization and Technology as the definition for cloud computing. And this states that cloud computing is a model for enabling ubiquitous, convenient, on-demand network access to a shared pool of configurable computer resources that can be rapidly provisioned and released with minimal management effort or services. And you probably noticed that some of the words are highlighted. And from these highlighted words, we come to identify the main components of cloud computing. Cloud computing has 5 essential characteristics, and we are going to briefly on each one of these characteristics. It has 3 service models and 4 deployment models. The essential characteristics for the cloud computing, the first one is an on-demand service, meaning that it can be provisioned unilaterally by the customers at any time without the interference of the supplier or the service provider. The second one is it's a broad network access. You can access it through network with 10 clients like PDAs, laptops. Resource pooling, the provider's resources are pooled together to serve multi-customers, allowing multi-tenant environment. Rapid elasticity, you can easily expand the service by scaling out or scaling down the service. So what you're doing is you're paying as you go. You don't have to rent or acquire services that does not meet or exceed your needs. And the last one is a measured service. You can monitor the service, you can control it, you can report it, you can have all kinds of statistics about the services that you are utilizing, whether it's from the side of the customers or from the side of the service provider.
Goes unabated, free-to-air satellite channels. When we started tracking the free-to-air satellite channels in the industry, our first report was January 2004. There were 100 free-to-air satellite channels. There was a slight deceleration of growth between 2009 and 2010, probably due to the financial crisis, global financial crisis. But then growth picked up again, and by April 2011, the number of free-to-air satellite channels, including fully operational and the minority that are in testing mode, reached 538 free-to-air satellite channels. This does not count the pay TV satellite channels in the industry, and these are the channels only on Nilesat, Arabsat, and Noorsat, not counting Eutelsat and Hotbird. The fully launched and operational free-to-air satellite TV channels reached 501 channels by April 2011, up from 244 in October 2006. Governments control TV, the satellite, the terrestrial TV, and at the start they also controlled the satellite TV, but now the landscape is very different. Now general private sector channels are the biggest, have the largest share at 20% almost, followed by government channels at 13% almost. Religious channels, mostly private, also at 12%, 11.4%, and so on. So it's a lot more diverse supply of free-to-air channels. And our research always shows that the 80-20 rule applies. Effectively, less than 20% of the channels garner more than 80% of viewers. This reminds me of my prep secondary school, the Venn diagrams. Basically, Nilesat has the largest number of channels broadcasting to the region. 208 channels exclusively shown on Nilesat, 131 channels common between Nilesat and Arabsat, and 83 channels exclusively on Arabsat. Of course, channels targeting the Arab world are mostly in the Arabic language. 80% were Arabic language channels, 5.6% English language. Terrestrial TV, we've seen some growth from 129 channels in April 2009 to 138 terrestrial TV channels by the end of 2010. And strangely, all the growth is because a few countries have liberalized. So basically, Iraq allows private terrestrial TV channels, Palestine allows private terrestrial TV channels, and Lebanon allows private terrestrial TV channels. Most of the growth comes from the liberalization happening in these three markets. Most of the other countries do not yet allow private terrestrial TV channels, so we would expect that if private TV channels are allowed in many countries, there will be a major growth in terrestrial TV channels. Probably free-to-air channels also branching into terrestrial TV channels in the main markets to allow them to segment their revenue streams and better target their advertising and the advertisers' budgets.